right side up, and I don't even know how that would
Well,
be
there
possible.
is an interesting fish experiment in a drop tower, the Bremen drop tower, I think it was. Maybe a different drop tower. There are quite a few of them, which they wouldn't need if they have the ISS, but apparently they do need. You know what I mean by drop tower, everybody? I don't know. The
Yeah.
it's a tower that's goes underground quite a few stories and then above ground. And what they do is they simulate zero G by firing a container with a vacuum pulled in the entirety of the chamber, including the container, and they can pressurize the container, but they shoot it up at a sufficient initial velocity so that it's in free fall from the point it quits accelerating, and then it's going up and then back down. So that entire time cycle, it's in free fall, so effectively zero G. And there have been a couple interesting things that came out of that. And one of them was their fish experiment, where they had a goldfish in a bowl of water, and they shot it up there. And I don't think the goldfish liked it too much because it started vigorously swimming. But the bowl was affixed to the bottom of the container. So one of the interesting things is that the water separated from the bowl in free fall and slowly floated up at a continual rate, which it shouldn't, because everything falls at the same velocity. So the surface tension, in fact, even the gravity of the container itself would have held the water in place, right? But the bubble of water floats up, and the fish is vigorously swimming and getting absolutely nowhere as the ball of water floats up. But the instant the edge of the water touches the edge of the container at the top, the fish begins to accelerate itself out of the water, and by the time the cycle ends and it impacts the bottom, the fish is completely out of the water. And then again, it's vigorously doing the swimming motion, but it's not getting anywhere. Just the momentum is carrying it.
Did the fish live?
Pretty sure it did. Because they do soften the impacts and everything. I don't think it was very happy about it. But,
So I got a physics question, or
Poor fish.
something I thought about yesterday. So if terminal velocity is usually, I don't know, 180, 200 miles per hour, something like that, and then we have 250 mile per hour jet streams at some times, do you think it's possible that they found some sort of updraft and they could do a kind of a parabolic perpetual fall? Does that make any sense what I'm saying, or no?
you mean like an eagle does, if there's a strong wind or something,
Yes.
like a thermal updraft?
Yeah, could they have found a spot where they can float a plane basically full time? It's being hit by a draft and also at the same time going that speed.
Well, there's an entire huge fleet of airships that were made by Lockheed Martin that most people don't know about, that I found that are quite ingenious, and they could do it even without what you described. They can fly for weeks on end, but they're I don't know if you guys have seen this.
You're talking about the like the weather balloon kind of things?
No, they're more like a blimp.
But they can't do zero. I'm talking about zero G, like the parabolic flights where they get up and they do the float down. I'm just wondering if they could ever do that like almost perpetually, if they found the right spot. It just seems to me if you're going 250 mile per hour wind coming at you, you're going at it 250 miles per hour. Possibly you can hover. I don't know. Maybe I'm way off base.
What I think is, and this is just my opinion, but I believe that the government does have technology, and certainly aviation technology, that's way ahead of what we know that they have. So like we know about stealth bombers, whatever they're called, and all the whatever they've released to us, and that's really old technology. So if you can do a parabolic flight where it simulates anti-gravity for say 30 seconds or however they can do it with civilian technology, it isn't that big of a stretch to think that the military would have the capability to launch something much higher than civilian aircraft go, higher velocities, and at a larger arc or a portion of that trajectory arc that allows for the simulation of anti-gravity, right? So maybe they could do it for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, but I just don't think that you can get up there to a certain point and become weightless and orbit unless you've got either something buoyant or something to keep you at high velocities like a jet airplane does. I just don't think that their claims about just getting up to a certain sweet spot and then being able to keep falling around this sphere, that
Yeah.
obviously doesn't exist.
No, yeah, the drop towers and the parabolic flights are just free fall, and the longest cycles of those, are, I think the parabolic flights are like 90 seconds, and if they can do more, I'm not aware of it. And I don't see how they could possibly, you know, if they took the fastest plane and did a parabolic flight skimming the ground, below sea level, and went up, to the maximum altitude, if you even could. I don't think that the technology would even necessitate that. You could do maybe 2 minutes of free fall, but I haven't seen anything more than that.